Welcome back, first grade. Welcome to week 2 of your virtual learning in trimester 2. We are going to do another painting today. So you are going to need your heavy paper. You're going to need a Sharpie marker, a circle template, your primary colored crayons, red, yellow, and blue, your watercolor paints, and a water cup. This is everything you should need for today. So for starters, our paper is what we call tall and skinny portrait style. You're going to take your circle template and we're going to do 2 circles. My template is like the letter O. I'm going to do inside my O 2 times to make eyes. So do 2 small O's. This would be one where a quarter might work well for you. Okay. Once you do that, we're going to draw 2 small ovals inside our circles. And we're going to color those in black with our Sharpie marker. The reason we're using a Sharpie marker is so that it doesn't run and move around when we start our painting. Now we're going to do our nose. So we're making a scarecrow, so his nose is just going to be a triangle. And we're going to just kind of stitch his nose on with a couple small stitches. Scarecrows are usually sewn together and not super well. Okay, then we're going to make his mouth. So we're going to start with 2 happy round cheeks. So those are free-handed circles. You don't have to trace those. And then we're going to do a wavy line smile, kind of a silly scarecrow face. Now we've got to do his hat. We're going to do his chin, but let's do his hat first so we kind of know where the chin should go. So I'm going to come from the side of his head, his face, up and around and back down. So big line. That's going to be the big line for the hat. Now we can do the chin. We're going to come up into the hat somewhere next to the face, and we're just going to come down and we're going to make sort of a smile shape that comes around and back up to the other hat. So now our scarecrow has a head with a face and part of a hat. We're going to do the rest of the hat now. So I'm going to start up here and I'm going to come down and into my other line. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to start up here and I'm going to come down and into my line. Okay, if you're getting close to the top of your paper, that's okay. Sometimes that happens. I'm going to go kind of near the side of his face. We're going to do a line coming straight up on each side. And we'll do a little bit of a frown shape to connect those. Now I'm getting close to the top of my paper, so my hat might run off. If your hat goes off the top of your paper, that's okay. If you have room above your paper, that's okay too. I'm going to do just another frown, sad face shape for the top of my hat. And I think I can make it, yeah, knock off the top of my paper. Okay, so we now have a scarecrow with a hat. So our scarecrow is going to have some hair made out of hay. So we're just going to do some lines coming out from under the hat. Hay or straw, as some people call it, because that's what scarecrows are stuffed with, so they stand up. The next thing we're going to do is his shoulders. So this is going to be a line coming from his face, and it's going to go right off the edge of our page. We can't see his whole body. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, we're almost done. Now what we need to do is do his shirt. So he's going to have on a button-up shirt. It's an old farm shirt. So we're going to do 1, 2 vertical lines up the middle. And then we're going to put some buttons on. I'm just going to do 2 buttons, but if you want to do more buttons, you go ahead. And my buttons are sewn on, so they're going to have an X. And then we've got to do his collar. So I'm going to come down diagonal, up diagonal, and down diagonal, and up diagonal. And now we are done drawing our scarecrow. We are going to go back and we're going to add some crayon color now. So you can put your lid on your Sharpie, make sure it's on there all the way, and you can put your Sharpie aside. We're going to go ahead, we're going to add some color to this scarecrow. So I'm going to start with his hat. You can do his ribbon on his hat. You can do it blue or red. I'm going to do red on mine. You can do either. It's your choice. We're going to add a little color to his ribbon on his hat. Let's go ahead and do that one first. And remember, we're using our primary colors today, red, yellow, and blue. So he's got a red ribbon. Going to make his cheeks red. So ribbon, red or blue, and then you can make his cheeks red. And if I'm going too fast, you just pause the video until you can catch up. His hat. We are going to do some lines with yellow to make it look like it's kind of a woven looking hat. So I've got these diagonal lines, and then I'm going to go the other way. So that makes his hat look like it's kind of a woven, like straw material. I'm going to do the same thing over here, and this is going to be a little harder because some of these lines are going to be really long. And oops, I made a little mistake. That's okay. It happens to everybody. He's still going to be an awesome scarecrow, mistakes or not. And then I'm going to go the other way. And this is kind of a hard one, so if you have to pause the video, you go ahead and do that until you get caught up. This is a little bit faster than I'd be teaching this if there was a room full of kids here. So he's got his nice woven hat. And let's go ahead and give his nose a nice yellow color. Okay? Now, for his shirt, I'm thinking we could go maybe red and yellow. Let's go ahead and do, I'm going to do the buttons red. And I'm going to do the collar and the flap where the buttons are yellow. Okay. And then I'm going to go across his shirt and I'm going to do some yellow striping. So I'm making some stripes across his shirt that are yellow. I'm going to do a small stripe up here. Okay. We're going to make this sort of a plaid looking shirt. So now I'm going to do some stripes going up and down that are red. And we know that red and yellow together make orange, so we might end up with some orange on our scarecrow, which is okay. He's a primary color scarecrow, but he might have one secondary color. That's okay. I'm just lightly coloring these. They're not super dark because we're going to paint him. So just like last week, we're not, with our tie-dye spiral, we're not trying to get perfection. We're just trying to get some color on the paper. And the last thing we're going to color is our background. We're going to color that blue with our crayon. And again, it can be lightly colored. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just a nice little light layer of blue will be enough. And maybe our scarecrow's in a field and this is the sky. Maybe he's in front of a blue wall. We don't know. You can make up your own story about your scarecrow however you want. Okay, so there is our lovely scarecrow. You can go ahead and put your crayons away now because we are ready for paint. So I'm going to bring over my paint brushes. So I have a couple paint brushes here. I'm going to get them all in the water so they're ready. I've got my regular basic paint tray. And I'm going to start with probably my bigger brush. And I'm going to do my blue background first. So remember, gentle like you're petting a puppy. One direction, get some blue on your brush. And we're using primary color blue and painting right over that crayon on our background. To do blue on top of our crayon. And you can see the crayon comes through a little bit through that paint, which is really nice. Gives you a nice effect. It's called a resist. We had that same effect on our tie-dye that we did last time. It's kind of a fun little project. Okay, and once I'm done with my blue, I can go ahead and I can put my brush in my cup because I'm good to go. We're going to go ahead and work on something else now. I think I'm going to work on my red. So I'm going to rinse my brush, gentle, gentle, wipe 1, 2, 3 times. I'm going to go ahead and go to my red. I'm going to do my ribbon on my hat. And I'm going to do his rosy little cheekies. His nice little cheeks he's got going on. And then I'm not going to do the shirt just yet. I think I'm going to wait on that. We'll do that last. So let's go ahead and go to some yellow now. And remember, if I'm moving too fast, you pause the video until you are ready to play it. I'm moving faster than if I was doing this with a room full of people here. So his hat, we can go right over those woven lines that we did. You can still see them. We still have that sort of woven hat effect, which is really cool, kind of nice. We're going to paint his face yellow. He's got a lot of yellow, but hopefully because we did that weave on his hat, it'll look a little bit different. And you can do right over his nose. And I got a little drip. It's okay if that happens to you. It happens to everybody. If you touch your two colors close enough to each other, they get messy. It happens. Oh, that one dripped too. I was trying not to get as close to that one. So the only thing we don't want to paint is his eyeballs. We're going to leave those white. So you can paint over his nose, over his mouth. You can see that the Sharpie makes it so that the stuff doesn't move around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse my brush, wipe it off, and I'm just going to take this stuff and I'm going to kind of try to clean it up with just water on my brush. Just try to remove some of that pink. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. But it seems to have worked out okay. Once we're done with the hat and the face, we're going to do the yellow on the shirt. So I'm painting the whole shirt yellow, even over top my red. Got a lot of yellow going on here. Very yellow looking guy we got. He must like the color yellow, or whoever made him likes the color yellow. Touch up his face. I wiped a little bit of the paint off. Okay. Now once you're done with all that yellow, we can go back in with our red. So you want to rinse, wipe 3 times, get your red, and we're going to go right over top our red and our yellow. And you can see where our crayon is resisting, and it's starting to look pretty cool. And he's got that plaid looking shirt. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some more red and I'm going to go over my yellow crayon. My yellow crayon stripes. And that gives my Scarecrow a pretty cool looking plaid type shirt. Now, if you want to, you can wait till it dries. You can go back and add a little bit more color on top. So I don't know that mine's dry enough yet, but I'll try it real quick. But if you wait like an hour and you come back and it's dry, you can actually paint a second coat, which will make everything darker. So you could do a second coat maybe on just the hat, so that it's a little bit darker than the face. And that might be a nice way to make that face kind of pop a little bit more against everything else. This is our primary color Scarecrow. So we talked about red, yellow, and blue. We talked about wavy lines and some diagonal lines, vertical and horizontal lines. We did some circles, a triangle, some different shapes. So this is a good lesson because we covered a lot of different things, and you made a really cute Scarecrow you can hang up. So I'd let him dry, have your parents help you take a picture and send it to me, Miss Hershey, and then you can go ahead and hang your Scarecrow up. Have a great day, first grade.